Welcome to the Cobb Tank, where educators across the district pitch innovative new ideas to help students learn in the classroom.
Let's get exercise!
If the Sharks like their idea, they could be awarded the grant funding to make it happen.
We are talking about here, 100% of our students will be able to use at our school.
With dozens of ideas submitted from across the county, these finalists have made it to the top of the competition. So now, who are the Sharks? Ryan Pines is in his 20th year of service to Cobb County School District. He began his career in the district as a software and database developer in 1998 and has been the Director of Information Systems in the Technology Services Division since 2014. Ryan has 3 children enrolled in Cobb County schools and is dedicated to helping make Cobb the best district to teach and learn in the nation. Nicole Kimson has 7 years of experience in education. She began as a parent in the Cobb County School District, volunteering and substitute teaching for 3 years before becoming an educator. Recently, Nicole was awarded the title of the Cobb County School District Middle School Teacher of the Year, and later the District Teacher of the Year. She currently is a science teacher for the Lindley 6th Grade Academy and also serves as the science coordinator for her school. Dr. David Ciprani has 23 years of experience in education, including 18 in administration. In June of 2015, he was appointed by the Board of Education as an assistant superintendent for middle school in the Leadership and Learning Division, where he supervises 13 middle schools in the west area of the county. Prior to being appointed assistant superintendent, he was the principal at Wheeler High School from 2009 to 2015, principal at East Cobb Middle School from 2006 to 2009, and principal at Mableton Elementary from 2003 to 2006. Myron Hernandez is a 4th grade student at Fair Oaks Elementary School. She was named as one of the top 3 finalists in the 2017 Kid Talk competition, encouraging others to change the world by being a leader. Myron is fluent in both English and Spanish. In her free time, she enjoys reading and helping her mom with her 2 younger sisters. Cassandra Stiff is our next Cobb Tank Shark. Ms. Stiff is the agency owner and operator of Horace Mann Insurance in Marietta. Ms. Stiff has been a long-standing partner in education with Cobb Schools. Her mission in life is to support and empower educators to make informed financial decisions with their money. Janet Sevilla joined the Atlanta Braves in 2013 as Community Affairs Manager. She is responsible for the day-to-day management of the department's community outreach initiatives and supports the Atlanta Braves Foundation's fundraising efforts. Janet develops, maintains, and builds relationships with community leaders and organizations, represents the Braves at community events, coordinates charitable activities, and supports the Braves' mission of making a difference in the community and growing the footprint of youth baseball. Our first finalists going into the Cobb Tank are representing Ackworth Elementary School. Angela Perry is seeking $10,000 to fund an all-star innovation lab.
Hi Sharks! I'm Peggy.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Angela. And we represent Ackworth Elementary School and are seeking your support with creating what we would like to call our All-Star Innovations Lab. Our goal is for the learning that takes place here to benefit the students, which in turn will benefit our community in a positive way. In addition, the experiences that the students will have in the lab will help prepare them for future STEM careers. But don't take our word for it. Here's what our students had to say.
We represent Ackworth Elementary, and we're seeking your help to start an All-Star Innovations Lab. My name's Aaliyah, and I want to be a science professor when I grow up. According to STEM Georgia, less than 10% of minority students who graduate actually work in science and engineering occupations. Our All-Star Innovations Lab will support our goals so we can be successful.
My name is Isabel. I want to be a marine biologist when I grow up. Our community has its own needs for STEM. For example, Vulcan materials require engineers, geologists, and blasters. Still, Tellus Museum is always looking for support given by people with science knowledge. These are just a couple of many businesses with STEM opportunities.
My name is Ashley and I want to be a nurse when I grow up. Taking part in hands-on realistic activities in the STEM environment is not only exciting, but prepares me for my future in a fun way.
My name is Ariana, and I want to be a veterinarian when I grow up. Did you know that the fastest growing careers include biochemists, biophysicists, doctor's assistants, personal home aides, and many more? All have something to do with STEM. Please help support our STEM journey so we can be college and career ready.
The All-Star Innovations Lab will include various tools such as robots, drones, coding programs, and green screen technology. The students will use the engineering design process on a weekly basis to collaborate in the lab. The intended result is for students to enhance their critical thinking skills, their academic and social growth, as well as have those real-life experiences that they may not have otherwise.
We also plan to offer training on the materials because teachers need support too. Planning lessons for the lab will include the collaborative effort of specialists, grade level teachers, the coach, and outside resources such as STEM Cobb. Rubrics will also be provided so that teachers can self-assess and evaluate the effectiveness of the lessons. We believe that immersing teachers and students in all things STEM will build a community of Ackworth leaders with the knowledge and the passion to move our community forward. Thank you for your consideration. Do you have any questions?
Hey, well done, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're here tonight. So, Sharks, we have any questions for them this evening?
I do. Dr. Angela Perry, you did a wonderful job. How are you? So, immediately the question that popped in my mind, and you touched on it, was training.
Yes.
Have you found someone, or is there staff that's going to provide the training for the
We have
teachers?
always reached out to Dr. Sally Creel and Tanya Pasciuto. We always reach out to them for support. We also have some teachers who've attended the STEM Academy who are able to offer their expertise as well. We know that we're not going to make it through this process alone, so we're just kind of reaching out to other schools who have also started their STEM journey, and we're open to any support that we can find.
Awesome. And is it available to all the teachers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Great idea. Thank you.
I have a question. I wanted to know, will this benefit all the grades, or are you looking to just work with 4th, 5th grade? How is that?
We would really love for all the grade levels to participate. I think that our vision really is for teachers to be able to sign up for a time to go, and they can use lessons from STEM Cobb. They could use lessons that the STEM team has planned or lessons that they've planned themselves. So it would really be all the grade levels at our school.
Can you talk specifically about the items that you'll purchase with this money, and how in the future you intend to keep this program going if the funding stops after year one?
Sure.
Definitely. So a lot of the items that we've purchased, our green screen, we currently have one and we're always finding ways to improve. We've asked for some iPads as well, so we'll be continuously adding apps and updating that. A lot of the robots and the other materials that we've asked for, we know eventually might need some sort of upgrade, but that's a risk that we're willing to take just to kind of dive into it.
The hands-on items that we have now are really utilized well, and the thing is that the kids really just immerse themselves in them so that they are, it's hands-on learning, and that's what we really want to give them the opportunity to do at all grade levels for all the teachers and students.
How many students, this is Janet, how many students do you anticipate being impacted?
We approximately have 700 students at our school right now.
So this actually would be a classroom that would be standing alone that teachers could sign up for and take their students into for these lessons. So really, it could impact all, I mean, hopefully, as many as we get on board, but hopefully it would impact all of our student population.
I heard the word drones. That was engaging to me. So how would you do that? What would be an activity with drones?
Oh goodness, there's, I mean, endless possibilities. You know, we have in our newsroom we do, I've envisioned this, and we haven't really spoken about this in particular, but you know, you see a lot of the YouTube videos, and all the kids are into the YouTube videos, and people use those drones just to get footage from like high above and things like that. I could totally see, you know, our kids doing something like that.
Yeah. Like the snow that just fell. Can you imagine the overhead shots of Cobb County?
And given the opportunity, it's just amazing what they can do.
Yep.
And the kids come up with stuff, and you're like, wow, how did you even think of that? You know, so.
Well, just being here tonight is a big success for you all, and you obviously were well prepared, and the kids were a great touch. So we appreciate everything that you've done tonight, and we'll see you later on tonight.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
It was very exciting.
It was.
Were you really nervous going in there?
Extremely.
Cold sweat the whole time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The next finalists going into the Cobb Tank are representing Mableton Elementary School. Sean Splosky and Ricky Stabler are seeking $10,000 to Edusize, a sports science program.
Oh, hi, Lava, bye, Life. Great. My stuff is gone and saw these zombies falling.
Kids these days with their video games. And geez Louise, look over there. They're texting messages back and forth like wild animals. Those phones might as well be glued to their faces.
Yes, taking selfies all over and over again. When we were kids, all we did was play outside.
Hi Sharks, I'm Sean Slutsky, Mableton's STEAM Lab teacher.
And I'm Ricky Stabler, PE teacher at Mableton.
And we're going to tell you how Mableton's going to get
Edgisized.
Isn't it crazy that current research has found that 19-year-olds are now as active as a 60-year-old, right? Could you imagine being as active as your grandma or grandpa? It's recommended by the World Health Organization that children receive 60 minutes of activity time a day.
In elementary schools, 50% of girls and 25% of boys are meeting this daily requirement. And in high school, 75% of girls and 50% of boys are not meeting this daily requirement either.
And it's crazy to think that a third of our children in America can be considered obese or overweight. In 1971, only 4% of children were considered to be obese from 6 to 11 years old. By 2011, it more than tripled to 18%. This isn't just a nationwide epidemic. This is a worldwide epidemic. Children in China in 1985, only 1 to 2% of children were found to be obese or overweight. By 2000, boys were 25%, and girls were found to be 17% overweight or obese.
We are seeking 2 class sets of IHT Spirit Bands and 50 UNICEF Power Bands to help promote an active lifestyle. These IHT Spirit Bands provide feedback on kids' heart rate, activity level, and the calories that they are burning. And the UNICEF Power Bands help us become global citizens.
Edgesize's mission is to inspire and motivate a new generation of learners to achieve academically, socially, physically, and emotionally. We can't wait to see our amazing Edgesize sports science curriculum that our teachers are going to be able to use with these amazing and innovative way to teach how to be physically active and physically fit.
So let's hear more from our Edgesize team.
The goals of Edgesize are
To connect academic competition to fitness competitions.
To inspire students to value their personal, social, and emotional health.
Drop the tech and get outside.
increase our student motivation to reach 60 minutes of daily activity. Organize activity participation in both positive, academic, psychological, and social adjustment. The following basic human needs identified by William Glasser are survival, belonging, power, freedom, and of course fun.
Kids are not active like they used to be. The average high school student spends 9 hours on a media device a day, and that does not include school. This has to change.
We will learn how to be a global citizen by donating to our local school food bank.
We will harvest food in the garden to provide for families in need.
All right, Sharks, are you ready to come down here and get Edgesize with us? Let's get Edgesize! So we're gonna send our fit team up to get you all set up in your bands. And then we want to invite you down to come get your heart rate going and have some fun.
All right, we'll come down. Let's come down.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just come down.
You didn't think you'd get a workout in today, but just because you wore a suit, we're going to get you moving.
So I got a book right?
So it's already been scanned in. Okay. So what we do is you scan it in and it goes straight to you. And then it'll be able to track your activity. So we'll get you, Milo's going to go ahead and get you started on some activity, and then we'll be able to monitor your heart rate.
So do I start at
That's your heart rate right now. And then tell her about the 3 levels that it has, Milo.
There we go. Circuit training, that's what we're talking about. Your heart rate's going up. Yeah.
I used to run.
I heard.
You need to start working harder.
This is hard.
We got some push-ups over there.
You gotta do You need to start running more. Run faster. So the numbers are
Olivia, go ahead and scan yours in and show her.
Well, I love it. Love the energy. Love the idea about having something to look at to push you to keep working hard and burning calories and energy. So I loved it. Sharks, any questions?
I actually have a question. I love the idea. I actually did the UNICEF before, and the only question I have is what happens when they lose or damage the bands? Is there some type of warranty?
Now, these bands I know come with a year-long warranty. The UNICEF Power Bands, those are a more affordable band. I'm not sure what the warranty is on those yet, but so how those work is to teach global citizenship, $10 goes to a therapeutic food pack. And we have a 12-bed garden where the kids are harvesting food for our local food bank that actually opens up this next week for the holidays. So we'll be harvesting out there next week.
How many bands are you guys planning to purchase, and how many students will be using them?
Spirit bands, there are 2 class sets, and in each class set there's 28, so it would be 56. And I know to use them in PE, we'd be able to check them out to students in PE. And we actually have a screen in our gym, and we'd be able to show everyone's heart rate and their target heart rate and how they perform during PE on the board.
And what else makes this very unique is that we're going to use one set that will be literally designed for classroom use. So we'll be training teachers. We'll be designing our own curriculum, which we've actually already started creating this year. We had a track build this year. We just received a disc golf grant. We're building a 6-hole disc golf course. And then through our gardening, we also have a soccer field. We also just built basketball courts. So we're really trying to teach kids how to connect academic rigor through having fun and through being engaged through social experiences, along with, we don't want to do sports. We're looking at cheerleading, dance, you name it, the arts. We want to combine all aspects of learning to this program.
Okay, well, we're running out of time, but I wanted to say thank you to all that came out tonight. You did a phenomenal job. I love the energy. As a former principal of Mableton, it's good to know that there's great, engaging teachers there that are engaged into the education process. And thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for the
workout.
workout.
See you later. Yeah, it was awesome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Great job.
Let's get educated.
Let's get educated.
Our strategy was to make the kids the star because we're doing this for our kids. And we want to make sure that we're pushing them to be healthy, active, because we know when they're healthy and active, we learn more. We get smarter and our brains grow and we have fun. So.
Next up is our finalist from Harrison High School, Paulette Allard, who is going into the Cobb Tank seeking $8,949.21 to fund 3D learning through 3D printing.
Hello, Sharks. At the heart of the new science standards of excellence is 3D learning. The basis of 3D learning is the use of authentic phenomena and problems using the following 3 principles: disciplinary core ideas, cross-cutting concepts, and science and engineering practices. We believe that as one of the newest schools in Cobb to implement a STEM program, and one of the only schools emphasizing biomedical engineering and advanced healthcare, we have a unique opportunity to address every aspect of 3D learning with effectiveness and excellence.
Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it?
We are here representing the inaugural cohort of the biomedical engineering students at Harrison High School. Our new STEM program is off to a good start, and we are determined to make it great. Each year, we are given a STEM challenge, and this year we have been challenged to make a difference in lives of persons with disabilities.
Earlier this year, our STEM cohort traveled to the Shepherd Center to learn about innovative practices being used to treat persons with head or neck injuries. We also had the opportunity to interview an occupational therapist to learn about adaptive techniques used by special needs students. Such interactions have provided us with the inspiration for us to begin designing and engineering our own prototypes to improve people's lives.
We are looking to outfit our program with the state-of-the-art equipment that will allow us to conduct authentic research and development projects, as well as provide equipment necessary for us to meet the requirement of the Project Lead the Way curriculum pathways we will be following over the next 4 years. Let us explain.
We need a 3D printer to help us build the prototypes we started to design that can help people with disabilities become more independent. Projects already in the development stage include adaptive technologies to help people learn how to write, how to manage activities of daily living, and how to increase workplace productivity.
Project Lead the Way requires us to conduct problem-based learning activities using vernier probes. Each of these labs requires specialized probes that will help us collect real-time data and create real-time graphical analysis. Also, because these probes can be used for many different experiments, we are asking for vernier manuals for each area of the study that the probes will be used for.
Because the emphasis of our program is biomedical engineering, we need an extensive understanding of the human anatomy. We are asking for funding to help us obtain 2 more anatomy and clay learning systems that were highlighted in the video. These models are over 3 feet tall and allow us to learn the anatomy by building each system of the body from the inside out.
One of the most inspirational things that we saw at the Shepherd Center was the robotic legs they used to help patients learn how to walk again. But as the saying goes, you have to walk before you can run. We would like to learn more about coding and robotics by working with LEGO Mindstorm robotic kits, which will also allow us to learn the basics. We can then combine our knowledge of robotics with 3D printing to generate robo-rehab equipment. We also want to investigate robotic-assisted surgeries as well.
Many post-secondary institutions are requiring their students to build professional electronic portfolios. Our teachers at Harrison want us to be career and college ready when we complete our program of study, so we are also required to build e-portfolios. To do that, we would like to add some digital microscopes to our labs so we can capture evidence of all the amazing cytology and histology lab experiments we will be conducting and put them in as images in our portfolios.
The significance of what our program has to offer is supported by the
by a publication put out by the Georgia Department of Labor called Georgia STEM Careers of 2024, which lists 65 STEM careers in the state, and 31 of them are related to healthcare and biomedical engineering. We want you to help us put our best foot forward by providing us access to state-of-the-art equipment, authentic challenges, and real-world learning. If you choose to invest in our program, you're not only choosing to invest in the future well-being of us, but of all the individuals and patients we aspire to help. So Sharks,
are you ready for it?
I believe we are. That was a really good job. I think that teacher was mine when I was in elementary school in that video. Did you guys make the video? Excellent job. Well done. But I think our youngest shark has a question for you all, so please listen carefully.
Kids, how are you going to have fun and learn with the 3D printer?
Well, we can use the 3D printer in many ways. We can use the projects in many ways. We can use the 3D printer in many different ways. We can use it to help us have more interactive things to see in our labs, and we can also use it to have projects that we are already starting to design to help people around our community.
I commend you. Thank you. I think it's excellent. How did you land on biomedical and robotics?
Am I taking that one? So at Harrison, we were already uniquely outfitted with a faculty that has biomedical and biology engineering backgrounds prior to in industry before becoming educators. For example, in my own experience, I worked at Emory University doing genetics research prior to becoming a teacher. So we were well equipped with our faculty. So then after going to the Shepherd Center and seeing the kids being inspired by what they saw there, and there was one particular thing they saw was a wheelchair that's programmed through coding for quadriplegics who use a retainer in their mouth, and they can touch the retainer with their tongue to control the car, to control their wheelchair. Wow. So they came back and they were ready to go. And then Jed actually can talk to you about a specific student that we're trying to help at our school.
Yeah, there's a new student in our school who is trying to work at, we have this coffee cafe thing, and there's a bunch of different students that come and work at it, and she's in a wheelchair. So my friend and I are trying to make a tray that can slide and go up and down, so she can use it and make the coffee with her wheelchair, but then move it up and grab stuff out of the counters and then slide it over and put it on the counter for people to pay and be able to make it easier for her to work there.
I have a question for you guys. So the equipment that you've talked about needing or wanting to purchase, do you have any of it in-house already, or are all these things going to be new purchases?
We have, we've been outfitting the Project Lead the Way curriculum over the last year and a half, because we've been in the planning stages for 2 years. So we do have some of the anatomy and clay models, and we do have just the basic sort of beginner setup for the Project Lead the Way courses. So we have some of the vernier probes, but certainly not a class set. Students would have to be working in groups of 5 at least. And so it'd be better if they had more individual hands-on use with those probes. And then we don't have any of the manuals. And so these probes, once we get them, we do need them for our program, but they can be used in other courses with other students as well. But we don't have the lab manuals to use them.
Well, we just are very thankful that you guys are here tonight. You guys did a really good job, and I think the whole thing about helping others just really won me over. And we all kind of went, when he talked about the young lady that you're going to support. So, awesome job, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you for the good work you're doing.
Yeah.
So you guys all pretty nervous going in there, or was it?
I knew we had it. Not him. I don't get nervous.
You don't get nervous. Well, best of luck to you guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. Good luck. Yeah.
Our fourth finalist going into the Cobb Tank Coming from Cooper Middle School is Stephanie Ruffner. She is seeking $7,750 to fund a STEM initiative to end world hunger using aquaponics.
Welcome to the Cooper Middle School 8th grade STEM program. We are here to illustrate the potential for our future STEM project, which is STEMming movement to end world hunger.
Dr. Shapani, we need you to be our judge volunteer.
Right now?
Yes.
All right.
Will you please sit on the chair and wait for our member Jocelyn to cue you in to start pedaling?
All right. Okay. We do? All right. Here we go.
Dramatic entrance.
Never before seen anywhere on this earth. Dr. Chaprani, you may begin pedaling to start our aquaponic system.
Energy.
C-O-O-P-E-R, STEM, 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 STEM. From the stem, we grow leaves, 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 leaves. All our leaves grab energy, energy, yes, energy. We need more than energy. CO2 is what we need. CO2, CO2. Where will we find CO2? Blop, 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 blop. We have all the CO2, CO2, oh yes we do. But wait, wait, wait. We need more than CO2. Oxygen is what we need. Oxygen, oxygen. All the plants have oxygen. Now humans need nutrients. Where will we find nutrients? From eating all the fish and plants. Chomp.
Hello, I'm a Cooper STEM genius, and according to my calculations, the energy produced by the humans will power our aquaponic system. The aquaponic system will power the lights, which will feed the plants, which will feed the fish. And eventually, the humans will be able to eat the fish or the plants, and the cycle will continue.
Now seen only at Cooper Middle School, funded by Cobb Tank. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chapani. You may return to your seat.
This is kind of fun.
My name is Stephanie Ruffner, and I am an 8th grade STEM teacher at Cooper Middle School.
I'm Diane Goldsberry, and I'm the other half of this 8th grade science STEM program.
A little known fact about Atlanta is that a large portion of our area is considered a food desert. That means that a portion of our low-income communities are living more than 1 mile away from fresh produce and fruits and vegetables. That is a huge problem for our population, because how are they going to be able to live healthy, active lifestyles without that food? So this project is to teach our students how to grow and have a self-sustainable, renewable resource using an aquaponic system.
So our first STEM project starts out with a very small project where the students have just the fish and the plants, and they implement and design a system to sustain just an aquarium with the plants. But of course, our dream is to have a human power driven system. In this system, students will ride a bicycle to spin a generator. The generator will store electricity in a battery set. The batteries will power our grow lights and run the filters for our system. So literally, human power becomes food.
The first part of our project, the aquaponic system, has already been funded by Lockheed Martin due to a grant that we obtained last year. We are also partnered with a company named Hyperloop, who is helping us to develop this project and extend it to the next portion of the aquaponic system. So part 2 is where we need you, Sharks, to fund the human-powered component of this project.
Sharks, you have a unique opportunity. This is a First time in Cobb County, probably in the state of Georgia system. It is a self-sustaining system that it will provide multi-grade level, multi-curriculum applications in our school. The biggest applications, of course, are in math and science, but we won't discount the others. And I could speak maybe for an hour of the different applications and the different grade levels, but let me just highlight a couple of the big ones. For math class, they would have real-time statistics. They'd have the ability to analyze data. And for science, we'd be looking at energy transformations, a concept that travels through all 3 grade levels. We would have electricity and magnetism, and we'd have fluid power.
We are asking for $7,750 in order to fund the resources and materials needed for our human power component. We will need to locate additional funds for the partnership with Hyperloop and continued work on this project. What questions do we have for you?
Well, first of all, great job. Love Cooper Middle School, of course, you know that. So great job. Thanks for being here tonight. We have some questions, I'm sure. Sharks?
Hi. My question is, what happens to the food as far as who picks the food, what's going to happen during the summer, winter breaks, things like that to make sure that it's being maintained?
So the students will be the ones who will take care of their plants and harvest. And we have looked into donating the food or having the students be able to harvest and actually make some meals. So that could go into a whole nother component of teaching the students how to cook, how to use the produce that they are actually making.
And this is a self-sustaining system. That means that as long as we have students to ride it, of course, it won't need any attention. However, I mentioned a battery bank. So we will store our excess electricity in our bank. That'll get us through the weekends. But we are also going to back it up because you never know when a snowstorm might hit, right? And so there will be the good old-fashioned draw power from, the electrical company if needed. Now, we plan to dismantle it each summer, clean the tanks, and the reason we're doing that is because we want the new 8th graders coming in to have to design their own system. And so with that, we will only need the PVC piping, which we've already worked with Home Depot and Lowe's, so I'm pretty sure we can get a good rate on those. It's an inexpensive product. And we would have to replace the fish and the plants.
Which the students could take home with them at the end of each school year.
Yeah.
How are you going to allow the community, or are you going to allow the community to participate in the aquaponics?
We definitely are going to be working with our school community to have them involved with this project, and not just our 8th grade STEM students. It will be housed in our school media center so that all students within the school can see the system, all teachers could access the information and use it as a teaching aid throughout the school.
I was going to say one of our exercise bikes will have biometrics on it so that we'll be able to collect, real actual data the health teacher could use, math in all different grade levels could use. So yes, we're definitely looking at it, including our school community. Now, what about our parents coming in? Well, yeah, we'd love to have a bike rider or two come in and sit and power our system up.
Excellent. You mentioned funding for a partnership. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yes, we are partnering with Hyperloop, which is a company that focuses on self-sustainable agriculture and working with schools to develop these types of systems, as well as taking these systems to third world countries and implementing them there. So this revolutionary idea that we have of a self-sustainable system with a bicycle could be transferred to multiple communities around the world. So we are working with them and their resources and knowledge in order to make this happen.
We have had tremendous success having our community partners help us financially. So as we mentioned, the first part has already been funded by Lockheed Martin. And I have little doubt that with a little perseverance, we'll find community partners to keep us going and keep that little bit that we need to raise.
You guys mentioned that you needed extra funding after. What would that extra funding be used for?
That would be used to continue additional materials over the years, as well as supporting our partnership with the expertise of Hyperloop.
We good? Well, once again, you've amazed us. Cooper Middle School is amazing with STEM, so congratulations on being here tonight. Great performance. I appreciate me being a part of it. How did I do?
Wonderful.
Great. Great. How about something more exciting than that?
Awesome.
Hey! Remember, you want the money, right? All right. Awesome. We'll see you guys later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
We need you, Cobb Tank, to fund the stemming movement to end world hunger.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we did awesome. Our students are they are the best students in Cobb County, so they have really outdone themselves this year.
The next finalist going into the Cobb Tank is representing Dickerson Middle School. Lawton Willingham is seeking $10,697 to fund a STEAM project that allows students to program their own musical instruments and technologies.
Evening, Sharks. So this new class we're starting at Dickerson is called Prototyping and Programming in Music. And the name really describes what the class is all about. The students will prototype, actually design an electronic instrument using some of the tools I'll show you in just a moment. They're going to program their instrument and then record themselves playing on the instrument they designed. So actual true integration of all of these disciplines. Music's the context. That was the kind of idea here. We want some context for learning. And students, of course, love to make music, and they love to mess around with electronics and a lot of these tools. So we're taking music as a context. And then our real goal here, though, is to expose them to more engineering in school and programming as well. So trying to get them to use the engineering design process to come up with their solution. So the problem that students are presented with in the class is real simple. To make music, you need instruments, all right? It's at least part of it. So instruments that some of these students are used to hearing, electronic instrument synthesizers being a common one, guitars, there's a huge variety of instruments. And the students can design their own original instrument that's never even been thought of in many cases. I can show you a couple of examples in just a moment. This is the engineering design process that, of course, there are many different designs for this image. But basically, we take students, want them to identify a problem, define a problem, start to brainstorm, prototype solutions. And then the real thing about this is we want them to be able to iterate, go back a step, go back 2 steps, redefine a problem, or try a new prototype to come up with their solution. So, gonna show you a couple of the tools that we need for the students to design these instruments. This board is called an Arduino. It's a microcontroller board. You can think of it like a little tiny computer. Sensors, this is how students are going to interact with their instruments. And this is where they've got the greatest amount of choice. Do they want to use a light sensor? This detects how much light hits it, and then you can control an instrument based on that. Of course, buttons being a device we're all very familiar with, sliders, knobs, proximity sensors to detect how close an object is to an instrument, temperature sensors. It's a huge variety of this kind of tool they can use. This is the Raspberry Pi. Because the students are going to need to be really involved with the hardware and designing the software, they need to have full control over the environment that they're actually doing this work in, that computing environment. And on a school computer, that's not really an option for students or for teachers to be in complete control. But what the Raspberry Pi is a very small, very inexpensive computer that the students can actually have full control over their environment and designing their solutions on this computer. Here is an instrument I'm going to show you in just a minute. You can see the Arduino on one side coupled with the circuit that'll be designed by a student on the other side. Of course, this is an early prototype of an instrument. You can see there, it's a little hard to see in the image, but I'll have one of you come down in a minute. There's 2 buttons on this instrument, as well as a light sensor and a little dial, which will allow you to control the volume of the instrument. So as an early prototype, this is the kind of thing we would expect a student to design, to decide they want to use a light sensor, decide they want to use a couple of buttons, and then what are they going to do from there? I've got a couple of quick videos. We'll queue up in just a second. This is the light sensor in action. Well, in this case, the light theremin was being used, the light sensor was being used to control the instrument very much like a theremin, which is one of the first electronic instruments. Another instrument that students might decide is percussion instruments. These pads, it's just common felt or rubber or whatever, but you put a switch underneath the pad, and the student's able to control and trigger drum sounds on their instruments. I don't have video of this, but you can also use, like I said, temperature sensors. You can use sensors that detect an object being bent, like a student's body part being bent to control an instrument. So lots of different ways students can choose to interact with the instruments that they're designing. So I'd like to go ahead and bring one of the sharks down. Mary, would you mind coming down? Yeah, I figured you wouldn't. Now you will get to hear the circuit that we saw. I'll go back so y'all can see it back at the table, but it's the little Arduino board coupled with the circuit. Mary, you want to come around here? And actually, we're not quite ready, Marion. Can you turn this on for us real quick? Cool. All right. Now if you come over to this, you see that little silver thing sticking off the top of that? I want you to move your hand around on top of that. I'm going to turn this volume up so you can hear what's happening. You want to get ready? So controlling this instrument with light from their hand. Awesome, Mary. You see the two switches on there as well? So we want to press, you see this little button right here. It's kind of buried under the wires. You want to press one of those buttons down there? Press it again for us real quick. Cool, with different sounds triggered by different parts of the instruments as well. You want to play some? Bass drum, some hi-hat. And all of these sounds that you're hearing, the student would select these sounds beforehand and program the device for the sounds that they want. And of course, they could go crazy. All kinds of different sensors for different sounds. So the possibilities are really endless. Awesome, Marin. Thank you. I'll turn that back down. Thanks, Marin. So what are the students actually learning? Programming, which if they've taken my class in 6th and 7th grade already, these students have already actually been exposed to some programming and this music as well. We use Scratch for my current students. With this device, these students are going to a new language, something a little bit more like what you would see when they graduate and actually go work in industry. So for a lot of middle school students, this is not the kind of thing they're exposed to, but this is what the language they use to control all this looks like. Of course, they review the design process. We're fortunate in this county that all the way down in our kindergarten level, the design process is now a part of so many teachers' lesson plans, exposing these students to design and engineering. So reinforcing that coming to this class and electrical engineering principles, they have to learn about wiring, have to learn about voltages and currents and all of these components and how to connect them all together. And of course, finally, music, which is the context for all of this. Why are we doing any of this? Well, music's part of it, the engineering's part of it. It all kind of boils in together as a really cohesive unit. We want to learn about all of this, and this is the approach we've taken to do that. So if you all have any questions for me, I'll take those now.
Well done, Lawton. That was really interesting. And I agree with you. Music is a great way to engage students. I mean, you just saw her in, 30 seconds get engaged to the whole process. So that was well done. Sharks, any questions?
What if the wires just stop working? What would you do?
This is my favorite thing, is when a student's project doesn't work. Because then what do they have to do? They have to learn how to fix it. Right, and this happens every day in my class. A student will be writing a program in Scratch, or they'll be writing a piece of music in GarageBand. Something doesn't work the way they expect. And so that's when you go back to your design process. We go back a step, and we figure out where that problem comes in and designing a solution. So yeah, I mean, what Marion just said, what if your circuit doesn't work anymore? Well, we go through, we trace out the problem. This is why students had to learn some of those electrical engineering skills. Well, it's just one simple fix, obviously, to get this to work again, but the students got to trace that out. And so that's an awesome question. That's part of the class, is solving those problems.
Is it one kit for a group of students, or how many students can learn off of that setup?
Yeah, so this whole setup is 36 complete sets of everything you see, minus the speaker, which is extra. But everything you see up here is covered in, and there's 36 sets. So it's a full class set of the equipment for that price. So every student has their own breadboards to design their circuits on. Every student has their own kit of wires. Every student has their own kit of resistors. The only thing students will share is a multimeter. Each group will have one of these devices. It just allows them to check their circuits and see why it's not working or see why it is working. So that's the only shared device. We'll have one of these for every 2 students.
as a tech guy, there are so many parts of this proposal that appeal to me. Have you thought about doing any kind of showcase at the end of the year where you bring your students back in front of an audience and kind of let them demo what they've been working on?
We're doing that at Dickerson right now with our classes as they are. We do our STEAM showcase in May. We show off our music classes, we show off our art, and we show off our science classes, our social studies, really talking about, we've got different challenge every year, but the students come in and show off their work. And my students have gone in and showed off their garage band at this past STEAM showcase. And then of course for this upcoming STEAM showcase, this class would be starting just in time for these kids to have something ready for that showcase. It would be a part of that STEAM showcase as we continue that this year.
You mentioned that the students who've had you in 6th and 7th grade will already understand the basics, but what if you have a student coming in 8th grade from another school? Are they able to catch on pretty quickly? How would that work? How would that look?
Yeah, so students, I find, work really well together, and so when we have a student who doesn't have the prior experience, they're still going to take this class, and this class, a lot of the activities, everything down to designing the circuits is the kind of activity you would do with partners, and you would troubleshoot each other's work. And so just because of the nature of it being a sort of peer supportive course, those students would have the support they need. They'd still be able to succeed in this class.
Lawton, you did a great job representing Dickerson this evening, and obviously collaboration is a big piece of learning, so great answer to that great question. But hey, that's the end of our time, so we want to again congratulate you for being here, and we'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank
Take
you for your
care.
time, Sharks.
Thank you.
So how do you think it went in there?
I think it went great. This is the kind of course that students really need today. Computer science, electrical engineering, and music. Just in today's day and age, these things are absolutely critical.
For our 6th finalist entering the Cobb Tank, we have Linda Wade, representing Loving Good Middle School. She is seeking $4,050 to fund Hyperloop Hyperlearning that will transform her STEM classroom.
Hi, I'm Tercy.
I'm Micah.
I'm Lizzie.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Tran. I'm Latifa.
And we are the future.
I'm Linda Wade.
And I'm Roy Johnson.
And we are the teachers who impact the future.
And I'm Derek Bailey, the proud principal who supports the teachers who impact the future.
Sharks, today you have an opportunity to impact the future as well. We are asking for $4,000 to fund a laboratory, design, and research project for our STEM program that will benefit our entire physical science department.
We learn about energy, force, motion, electricity, and magnetism in science class. But we are interested in seeing how these play out in the real world, specifically our future world.
These topics are all part of a new technology known as the Hyperloop.
That's right, Micah, but not everyone knows what the Hyperloop is.
Yes, this technology is so new that many people have never even heard of it.
The Hyperloop is a transportation system proposed by Elon Musk. It will carry people and cargo overland up to, wait for it, 760 miles per hour.
760? Whoa, that's insane. But how does it work?
Basically, an aerodynamic vehicle known as a pod is suspended by electromagnetic levitation and pushed through a tube with a linear electric motor, and while simultaneously creating a low-pressure environment, which, voila, creates 760 miles per hour.
To put the impact of this Hyperloop in perspective, one proposed route would allow passengers to travel from Denver to Vail in only 9 minutes instead of 2.5 hours by car and avoid scenes such as this one.
Think about it. Cobb County students could easily take educational day trips to places like Washington, D.C. if the Hyperloop was available. Isn't that awesome?
Ooh, how about a trip to Disney World?
Calm down, Tran. We could go to Disney World and come back in the same day since it would take less than an hour to get there.
And this, along with similar emerging technologies, will create a lot of career opportunities for students like us. In fact, there are already many jobs available, even though the Hyperloop is still in the developmental stage.
By now, you probably think the Hyperloop is pretty cool.
And you're probably wondering what we want to do with your $4,000.
Well, obviously, we cannot build a multi-billion-dollar transportation system. But what we would like to do is build a model of the Hyperloop that will demonstrate practical applications of the science topics that we study in 8th grade. That would be things like energy, motion, force, electricity, and magnetism. This will be a true STEM project that will go from start to finish. The students will use the engineering design process to build the track, and they will also design the vehicles that carry people through the tubes. And those, like Tercy said, are known as pods. The pods that are designed will then be 3D printed and put on display. These students, along with their peers, will develop good talks. That would be Loving Good's version of the TED Talk. And they would be able to, in these talks, describe their research so that they would be able to apply the physical science concepts and explain that to lay people like yourselves. They will also, with the good talks, be able to talk about things like cost, risk, benefits, things that have to be considered for this type of technology to ever come to fruition. Finally, we'll have a STEM night at Loving Good where we will showcase our Hyperloop model as well as our good talks. And by the way, Sharks, I want to invite every single one of you to come to Loving Good in the spring so that you can listen to those great good talks. So, Mr. Johnson, I think we have more than just science and math.
This goes way beyond the STEM science class. This moves into the language arts area. When you consider that we can do the explanatory essay, the compare, the contrast, the process, cause and effect essays, what you're seeing here tonight is just the start of all the speaking and listening standards that the state gives us for these students. Research. What you're seeing here and much of what you've read, that was their work with the engineering and research side of this. So we're way ahead of it. The truth is, though, when it comes down to why we need your funds, John Dewey probably said it best when he made the statement, if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of the future.
So basically, we're asking for money, but it goes towards passion. It goes towards lighting a flame in the youth so their brains don't become stagnant or aggressively passive, because we want them to be able to aspire beyond what they could even imagine. Because just imagine when you take theory combined with practical application, it seems minor, but the impact is massive. And you will be able to look inside of their eyes and realize the lives that you've impacted. That part is very crucial. So Sharks, I say this, we can't be the ones to rob them of tomorrow. I say we give them the world so they can have the tools to impact the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, that was really impressive. And you had me at 760 miles per hour. That got my attention, like, wow. I was thinking, how does that work? Disneyland. I know, I'd rather just ride that all day and not go to Disney World or whatever. So I think Myron has a question about that actual vehicle. Go ahead, Myron.
Does someone drive this vehicle, or does it by itself?
Actually, it does not have an engineer on board. That's a great question. And that brings up some concerns as well, because we don't have anybody there in the tube driving it like we do a bus or something. Great question.
How many people or passengers is it able to carry?
Well, that one is up in the air. They are still, in fact, there are competitions currently to design the pod. So full capacity is yet to be decided. I've seen some models that are showing as few as 6 to 10 and having like a train with a bunch of small pods to allow the curving, etc., while others are showing as many as 35 to 40.
But the pods that I've seen are designed to leave every 30 seconds. So that impacts the number of people that can be transported.
That's the name Loop.
Yeah.
So is there a foundation that Elon Musk has available? I mean, is there any plan, or have you already reached out to him to share that the project is underway through his foundation, if it even exists? I mean, this is awesome.
This is real world stuff, and so he is developing his own little Hyperloop.
Right.
So no, we've not reached out to him on an educational level. So I don't know. This is so incredibly new that it really has not been developed. It was an idea that Elon came up with several years ago, and now different companies are competing to develop this, say, first. One of them, the most prevalent, the one you see in the news a lot, is called Hyperloop One. And Elon Musk, by the way, is having a pod competition that he's already done one, and there will be another competition this spring where MIT type students, Georgia Tech type students will actually be designing pods. So what we are doing is giving these children an opportunity to glimpse into that future where they would take on those jobs, and they'll be prepared.
The state of Colorado has indicated that the Denver to Vail thing was not just a whim on our part. That is a serious look right now. The state of Colorado has bought into it and agreed to help with, say, land, funding, tax credits, etc. He went for 10 proposals across the world of places to put them. I know Australia is one that has, quote, been given that they would be a site. So we're not there, but it's more than pie in the sky at this point.
Now, would this be something that all 8th graders would have the chance to experience, or are you guys starting off with just like a STEM group right now?
We are starting with our STEM group because, quite honestly, this is so very new. And when I said it was going to be a true STEM project, I mean that from the bottom of my heart, and I mean it for me, that we anticipate there are going to be some problems. We anticipate that we are going to have to do some serious critical thinking and problem solving to get the thing built, because we're trying to model something that has not been built yet.
Well, I think we're all impressed. Yeah. Relevant, incredible. So thank you so much for being here. We're very proud of you all for being here, representing middle school, loving good. I love that. So hopefully we'll see you guys later tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I think the students definitely did a good job of taking an abstract concept, but making it user-friendly, and speaking it in terms that everyone can understand, and make it entertaining and informational at the same time.
Our next finalist entering the Cobb Tank comes from Garrett Middle School. Micah Ducre is seeking $5,000 to fund the Vocation Location, which aims to increase college and career readiness among Garrett students.
Good evening. My name is Micah Ducre, and I'm a physical science teacher at Garrett Middle School. Are you sitting in class waiting for the bell to ring? Are you wondering what tomorrow will bring? Well, stop wondering and join the Vocation Location. Graduating with an Associate of Culinary Arts, Mr. Alex Lopez. Graduating with an Associate in Cosmetology, Ms. Jasmine Hargrove. Graduating with an Associate in Computer Science, Mr. Ethan Floyd. But how did they get there? Let's rewind to 7 years prior.
Hello, my name is Alex Lopez. I'm an 8th grader at Garrett Middle School, and when I grow up, I want to be a chef. According to BLS.gov, the culinary field is projected to grow 10% between 2016 and 2026. Executive culinary chefs make an average of $75,596, according to the Washington Post. So why wait?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jasmine Hargrove, and I'm an 8th grader at Garrett Middle School. When I grow up, I want to be a cosmetologist. According to Payscale.com, a cosmetologist in Atlanta makes roughly between $23,000 and $31,000 a year. The Bureau of Labor Statistics project that the cosmetology field will grow by 70,500 new cosmetologists in the next 10 years. So why wait?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ethan Flores, and I am an 8th grader at Garrett Middle School. And when I grow up, I want to become a computer scientist. The National Association of Colleges and Employers state that people with degrees in computer science make the second highest salary, with them earning roughly $60,000 per year. Computer science is a significant role to play for many businesses. Computer science is also viewed as beneficial for protecting organizations, advancing education, and impacting society in every aspect. So why wait?
Good evening, esteemed Sharks. My name is John Wosu, and I'm a professional school counselor at Garrett Middle School. Careers aren't just about making a living. More importantly, they're about making a life worth living. Vocational Location wants to use career, technical, and agricultural education to help inspire our students. We also want to make sure that we use Georgia College and Career Pathways to help connect our students to their passions sooner. It's really important to us to make sure that our students are able to use what they learn in the classroom every day in real life situations to be able to make sure that they can start their career off debt-free, to also give them an opportunity to find careers that are high in demand, that are high in terms of job security, and also we want to make sure that they're able to earn a very healthy lifestyle. And I think it's also very important, and it's very important to us to make sure that they also have options so that they can create a better life for themselves and their families. So there's no such thing as too soon to start. So why wait?
The vocational location is designed to re-engage students in academics by introducing them into a vocational skill. At the vocational location, students are mentored by community leaders as well as high school peers. They are taught a vocational skill and they build business portfolios that they may potentially use in the future. We at the vocational location are dedicated to increasing graduation rates by ensuring that our students are college and career ready. So why wait?
Well done. Excellent. Love it. I love the relevancy of this whole project. So well done with that. And you guys are real brave. You three. Great job. It's kind of interesting being here, right? So good job for you to take a chance to come out here and support the Garrett Middle School, which I love. So Sharks, any questions? Okay, calm down. Sharks?
Oh. So how did you come up with this idea?
Well, so I'm in Teacher Leader Academy. I had a legacy project, and I thought, which way would best affect my students? So not only leaving a legacy for myself, but a legacy for Garrett and the community and how it can impact Cobb County. So I shine, Garrett shines, Cobb County shines. What I thought about is everybody is not designed to go to college. My dad didn't go to college, though he attempted to. It just wasn't for him. I went to college, my brother did, but it's not for everybody. So my students and in the area that we're in, they get so bent on the fact that they're not being successful in their books or their academics when they shouldn't be. So I don't want them to give up there because they think, well, I'm not going to go to college anyway. And a lot of them have family members that dropped out in high school. So if we teach them a skill and they become dedicated to that skill, it's hands-on, they want to learn it. Okay, well, you learn it here in middle school, go on to high school, push through. Now you graduate, you have a tech diploma. Okay, so now it's only 2 more years till you're successful and you're in a career where you can actually provide and become a great citizen and give back to your community.
And like you said, Mr. Soprani, and like Micah said, I think that relevance is really important. And so the issue isn't necessarily that they can't perform or do the work that's required of a 4-year school. A lot of times there's just not a direct connection between what they're doing right now and what they will be doing later. So we want to, like Micah said, make sure that they understand that, hey, you have options, and that if you are trying to do what you want to do right now, there's no better time than the present to make that happen so that later you can have a bigger and brighter future.
So why wait?
Mike, I commend you for getting this started at your school. I think clearly there's a skills gap in our country, and to really work with these students to get them started on their career path at this early age is really awesome. My question to you, have you identified any trade schools or secondary schools where in the current path that they're interested in or on, they get credit for it and they go on to get the additional skill set once they leave school?
So we're going to partner with Pebblebrook High School. They have a CTAE program, so they'll be mentored by those students there. Also, it's a plan for me to bring in community stakeholders throughout the community to come in and talk to them, tell them how they got their business started. I plan to tour Chattahoochee Tech because they offer these different things. So just making it, like Mr. Wosu said, making it relevant, seeing where you can go, how you can get there. Middle school is where you are now. High school, they have it. You can work on it there. And then in Chattahoochee Tech, you can perfect it. So putting them in that environment and them actually seeing it, we have it right here in our community. So I plan to use the resources at Pebblebrook, Osborne, and the surrounding schools to actually have them there for them.
I want to say I love this idea. I really do, because, you know, there is a gap and students don't all go to college and they do need the skills. So my question is, how are you going to get the word out to those students? How are you going to choose the students who will be a part of this?
Well, we plan to start off small because it will be starting off. So starting off small, and I really want to pinpoint those who have seemed to have lost their way. You know, of course, we all want all of our students to be successful, but we all know everybody's not going to go to college. So discuss with small, like 8th grade teachers, which students do you think we need to pull to the side and come on and get them re-engaged? We don't want to retain them. So through which ones do we need to be more hands-on with? So looking at your past grades, RTI students and things like that, then using the career cruising from Mr. Wosu, kind of guiding these students. What does your career cruising say? Okay, now how can we align it with something that we can offer throughout our community? In the trades that I wanted to start off with were cosmetology and culinary, because it's something they do their hair every day. Boys, they might act like they don't care, but they care. They're more prettier than we are. And they like to eat. So these are things that are relevant to them, and they're more hands-on in something that they do every day. So I forgot what your question was, but I hope I answered it.
You answered it. It was just basically, how are you going to choose the students? So that was great. Thank you so much.
What role do parents have in the program?
So we plan to talk to the parents. There'll be a whole introduction thing. Okay, this is the program. We're going to lay it out. Why did we specifically choose your student? What is it that we want that you need to do? So it's going to have to be an at-home, at-school type of involvement. Parents will be expected to come to the introduction ceremony. At the end of the program, there'll be a transition ceremony, similar to them going into the transition ceremony they'll have for 8th grade. So we'll have one as a graduation, and we'll also be mentors. So we'll keep in contact with the parents, because we'll track them to see how those students are progressing. Because of course, as a parent, you want your child to be successful in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whatever that means. So it will be an at-home, at-school, because that's a lot of times the parents don't know what they're learning in school, or they can't really help them. So.
Wow, that is so good. This is really, really good. Whenever you can give young people a purpose, I think that just will make them want to come to school, learn, and then go on and do something they really want to do. So I love it. So well done. Looking forward to seeing you all later tonight, and congratulations for being here.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
You have a great night.
You too.
And it started with people who care, i.e. Ms. Dupree, and, you know, kind of just sharing her vision and her ideas with other folks who care, and us kind of latching on and building together. So we want to do that and take baby steps, and those baby steps will lead into giant leaps that will reach throughout the county. So that's kind of our goal.
The next finalist going into the Cobb Tank is representing LaBelle Elementary School. Shona Lewis is seeking $5,399.40 to fund a playground that will promote the power of inclusive play.
Good evening, Sharks. My name is Shona Lewis of LaBelle Elementary. I'm seeking funding for an outdoor inclusive playscape. Children use their senses to explore the world around them. Sensory play builds language, fosters communication, it fosters open play, and develops social skills. Now, Sharks, why is this important? Accessibility and inclusiveness is important. Accessibility means that our playground is accessible. However, I want our playground to be inclusive. I want high back swings, tabletop sand tables, wheelchair accessible, where the wheelchairs can roll to the sand table. We don't need to remove the students from their wheelchair to place them in the sand table. I would also like additional ramps on various other portions of the playground. If the playground is crowded, we'll need to take the wheelchairs around an alternate route, and it loses valuable instructional time. I have a video prepared for you to watch so that you can see our existing playground, the possibilities, and a catalyst for change. Now Sharks. Currently, there are 18 inclusive playgrounds in the state of Georgia. There is only one inclusive playground in the school system in Atlanta. Now, would you like to revolutionize Cobb? How about it? Think about it. My school could be the first inclusive playground for Cobb. Do you have any questions for me?
Wow, that was really good. That got me. I don't know about you guys, but I was like, oh, yes. So well done. Great presentation. Anybody have any questions for her?
Let me say I love this idea. As a parent of a daughter who has certain difficulties, physical difficulties, I think this idea is just amazing, and I thank you for coming up with this. And I just want to know what inspired you to want to include those students who aren't able to physically do the same things as other children.
I am the Support and Services Administrator at LaBelle. We have a severe, profound classroom, and most of the students, when we're trying to go outside, we get the parents to come in, and we've noticed that sometimes you'll see it's very difficult for us and for the parents to watch them. Sometimes you'll see a wheelchair on the side, and the parent is sitting on the bench, and one child is playing, or two. So the parent is trying to watch the child in a wheelchair as well as the child that's playing. And it makes it difficult. It makes it extremely difficult because one child winds up not playing, or the parent is entertaining and trying to do the best they can with the student with the orthopedic needs or any other needs, and then one child is unsupervised. So it makes it difficult. And hopefully the community, this will help the community as well to be able to utilize the playground. We have a couple 504 students that do have other ailments that prohibit them from going outside. So as well as just the outdoor playground, we want to start moving to something indoors as well too. And that helps. That was my motivation.
Thank you.
Is there a specific boy or girl that you were thinking about?
There are lots of specific boys and girls. We might have 8 students, 1 teacher, 2 paras. Usually, and we have 8 wheelchairs. We're trying to get the wheelchairs out, so we go outside in transition. We might have 4 students outside at a time, and sometimes it's difficult for all of us to be outside together. And at that time, most of the students that are outside on the playground, they're very mindful of our students. And typically they'll push the wheelchairs around, and mainly it's the student walking the wheelchair around and not necessarily interacting. And so with that playground, but once we take the students out of their wheelchairs and, we sit them down or we carry them, we assist them standing, the students are more likely to come up to them and play with them and engage and interact.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The indoor portion that you were speaking to, is that included in your proposal, or would that be additional
There
funding?
are a few items that are included, such as a bowling game with a ramp. Some of those are included, weather permitting. If the weather, the pollen, if it's a lot outside, then some of the items on my list are included. But we wanted to do it in phases. And most importantly was the outdoor portion.
Sure.
Thank you.
Is there additional cost involved with maintaining the playground?
AAA Play has commercial grade playground equipment. So the playground equipment is supposed to be able to be maintained. It's weatherproof as well. They do have someone that can come out and install the playground equipment. You can do a supervised installation to save, just depending on the funding. You can do the funding through volunteers, or they can actually set up the funding, and it's part of their program because they are one of the playground equipment suppliers that are geared toward special needs students. So they give a lot of discounts for it.
Does your cost include the supervised, or are you banking on the community?
Our cost includes the supervised assistance and not necessarily the installation of the professional. But at the time, they said that they're willing to work with the school system as well to see what they can do to help. But we have lots of volunteers and teachers and administrators that are willing to get out there and help. So we have lots of support.
You mentioned opportunities to serve the community as well. Can you share what those opportunities might be where other kids that don't attend could utilize this playground?
Yes. Part of our playground is equipped where the community can come through, so the fence isn't closed off. There are certain portions of the playground that is open to community over the weekends as part of our initiative with our PE teacher as well and our principal. So those students are allowed to, and those parents are allowed to come out. Business partners, they come out, and sometimes they come in and they join, and it's out there. It's accessible to everyone, and the community knows they can come in and play. Yes.
What's the capacity of the playground? How many children will be able to enjoy it?
I'm not exactly sure. I know the teacher to student ratio. So just knowing that, usually we have about 60 to maybe 5 teachers, 60 students at a time. But our playground is vast. And as you can see, the playground was in the picture. We have a lot of open area. So we can maintain more, but that's something that I should look into a little bit more.
Great questions, Sharks, and great answers. I love the social aspect when you talk about having all the kids playing together. Can you imagine just the joy and just, it would be amazing. So what a great idea. Very impressed. Thank you for coming out here, the courage you showed and standing by yourself and presenting to us, but you did a really good job, and we'll see you later.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What was your presentation strategy?
Just to make sure I thought about my students, I thought about the students in the school, I thought about the parents, the community, and what was needed. That was my strategy, just put faces, the student faces on the judges.
Next up is our finalist from Kell High School, Lauren Forbes, who is going into the Cobb Tank seeking $1,600 to fund an escape room to keep students engaged and excited about learning.
Good evening, Sharks. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. What I'd like to pitch to you guys tonight is an escape room to create a way for students to become engaged, especially with some high-stakes testing. We all know students are inundated with all of these testing throughout their entire educational career, and I felt like this would be a really great way to keep students engaged. And let me just go ahead and show you.
Has your class ever looked like this while you're trying to teach them something important? Today, I've created an escape room for my AP Lit students. Little do they know, they'll have to answer multiple choice questions to get some clues to escape the room. And they'll have 1 hour to do so. Students need to provide their answers on these cards. They can only move on to the next step with each correct answer. Even one incorrect answer will keep them stuck on this level.
A metaphor, I think? No, so yeah. So the clouds.
Not really, it's not like the sun is the person, Jay.
I thought I was the person.
So, no, it's not the person.
So big, though.
I think we got the clue.
Here's their first clue to find their first letters. It should take them to the library. Their next book, Hamlet, and there are their letters.
Wow, I don't need your sass.
They're all turning on each other.
Look at Hamlet, we're going to bring that next. Where's the Frankenstein? James, do you still have it? Yeah, but we try to figure out the words. What's the word with the X gonna be? Okay, so 25 minutes left.
So what do you guys have to do to escape the class?
Pass the AP exam.
How was this different than test prep that you've done in other classes?
Well, last year when my teacher would hand out these multiple choice questions, I used to just put my head down and sleep the whole class. But since we were playing Escape the Room, I had to answer them so I could get the clue, and it motivated me to answer.
How is this beneficial for your learning?
Well, it's a competition, and it's a lot more fun than like sitting there and like looking at a boring old test. And like it helps us study for the AP exam a lot more.
You actually get to collaborate, and if you're unsure about an answer, you can go back through it. It's not like rushed.
It branches off from the traditional teaching methods that most AP teachers have, and it encourages participation between classmates, so it helps get a good thing going.
How will getting the escape room kit improve the experience?
It'll actually make it feel like it's real, because there's such thing as...
It'll be just like real boxes that we have to unlock.
It'll be more of a challenge to get the clues.
And so that was a mini escape room that I created for my students, obviously without any materials at my disposal. And with your help, I would be able to get a kit from Breakout EDU, which would actually like provide the materials such as like boxes with locks and different kinds of unique materials, like a black light where they can reveal different words, and you can just be more creative in the different kinds of clues that they have to solve and make it a little bit more interesting and fun for the students in class. All right, do you have any questions for me?
That was really interesting. I like it. I like that anytime you can incorporate movement, you know, and walking around and finding clues, I think is always an engaging way to do anything. So I really like that aspect of it. But Sharks, anything you want to add?
Have you considered partnering with another school to see what they have already in place?
I have not yet. I haven't really heard of too many other schools using this. I mean, I'm sure there are probably other teachers out there using it. But for me, I was kind of searching for some of my own lessons, and it was something that I came across and thought that if it was something that went well, I could help other teachers, in starting with my school, learn how to use it, and then eventually help others as well.
So will this be just in your class, or are you going to do this in a separate room?
This is just in my classroom. However, it can expand outside the classroom if need be.
So as you know, this is a district that uses data to make decisions. Do you have any data yet from the escape room that you've already set up to indicate that the results on the AP exam is actually that they're improved?
Well, I don't have any from the actual AP exam since that was the first time I even attempted it.
Sure.
But it would be based off of them, like their practice tests that they've done, and then what their score is afterwards.
How did you come up with this amazing idea?
I actually went to an escape room myself, and the collaboration involved and the teamwork and the creativity that's needed to actually escape the room, which we did not escape the room in the one that I did, it really kind of motivated me to think, okay, well, how could I incorporate something like this in my classroom? And I'm always trying to do something different, especially with test prep, because it's become so inundated in their learning.
I think my wife has us going to an escape room. Is there somewhere in Atlanta where they do this?
There are plenty of places.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. Like, what if you get an answer wrong? Do you just get stuck in the room all night, or what?
Yeah.
So then what happens?
You just have to keep trying to figure it out.
Oh, so there's other questions, or the same question, you got to figure it out. I gotcha.
It's different clues you have to figure out. I mean, they will give you help 3 times.
You can call, phone a friend, and you can use your phone?
No, I don't believe
No phones?
No
Oh,
phones.
I have a
Lord.
question.
Another question.
Is this just limited to AP students that are taking your class, or just all English students?
This could actually be in any class, any subject, any grade level. It's just depending on like whatever material you want to basically have the students uncover or solve.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I could even see the students making their own questions to tie into the AP subject. So, I mean, really, really good thought. So I think we're good. So well done.
Thank you.
Proud of you. And we'll see you later.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
If you are awarded this money, how are you going to work to implement this in your school?
Well, immediately, I have an escape room kit, which was my pitch, and I would immediately start working on different sorts of assignments that I can use with this escape room, and hopefully be able to take my kids to one so they would learn how it works as well.
Our last finalists going into the Cobb Tank are from Hightower Trail Middle School. Amy Morris and Zachary Jezequiel are seeking $6,595 to fund an interactive web racing bike lab.
All right. Good evening, Sharks. My name is Zachary Jezequiel. Beside me is my amazing colleague, Amy Morris. And as previously mentioned, we are from Hightower Trail Middle School. What we are looking for your help for is an interactive stationary spin bike lab. What we brought is a visual of the current stationary bikes that we have in our physical education curriculum. Our goal is to incorporate this web racing innovation. Now, let me tell you a little more about that. The children that we're teaching nowadays, these 21st century students, this is the entertainment generation. These students respond to videos, music, games, social interaction, and that's exactly what web racing products have been specifically configured to do, promoting strong social connections. In addition, what it really is it's virtual reality. It's incorporating virtual reality into cardiovascular exercise. And from Peloton and other research has shown a 30% increase in motivation as well as overall output when people are put with virtual reality with their cardio exercise. That graphic on the right-hand side on the top, you can see that's a Cobb County graphic there reported from their FitnessGram assessments. FitnessGram is what we do in physical education, and you can see in California and in Texas, they've shown that the most telling tests to prove student achievement is those that test for cardiorespiratory endurance. In addition, You can see here on that top right there, 90% of exercisers, that's not just students, that is all exercisers, adults, students alike. They prefer to work out in a group. Our overall goal, we currently have 6 of these stationary bikes. We would like to grow that number to 32 bikes, which are all synced together using this wireless technology that not only allows the students to ride the bikes, but they get projected onto a screen with all of their friends. So you're actually racing against your friends when you're on these stationary bikes. That enables us to provide this extraordinary differentiation. The definitive user feedback shows that all users, their motivation is significantly increased when they're shown on a screen with their friends and other riders. On the bottom there, you can see 2 examples of the courses you can actually access. That's the Tour de France there on the right-hand side, and you can see mountain trails there on the left. In the top left, we've got that from our good friend Paul Zintarski in Illinois. That is a composite photo of students' brains after sitting quietly on the left-hand side. You can see there's no activity there. It's cold. On the right-hand side, however, that's after only 20 minutes of walking. They're fired up. Their neurons are firing. They're ready to learn at that point, which is why we're really excited to incorporate this into our curriculum.
I am going to speak to you about kind of the logistics and what we need in our school and what how it's going to benefit our school. Our school, Coach Z and I, we see about 500 plus students a day. We have 3 specialized RISE units at our school that come to our class specifically for socialization that we have every single day. We have intramurals at our school, we have running club at our school, so we service a ton of students every single day that everything that we are talking about here, 100% of our students will be able to use at our school. With special needs from being disabled visually or hearing and that kind of stuff. We have a student that is blind currently and she is amazing on the bikes. You would be surprised, loved it. So these bikes, this is what we're looking at right now. They will be, all bikes are retrofitted, so we could use any bike. We have a stationary bike with a recumbent, with a back right now that we have some students that aren't as mobile as others, so we sit on a recumbent bike. We are seeking 32 bike system. These numbers do not include the bike itself. This is all the technology, the interactive web-based technology needed for this. We are the first school. There is no other school in Cobb County. There's no other school in the state of Georgia that currently has a web racing lab. There are many other schools in Illinois, North Carolina, mostly middle schools that are incorporating this into their students. This does take a significant amount of money to install, but they are going to train every single one that's involved on it by how to use the programs, and they back their programs. If funding allowed, we are working with our foundation right now to raise money as a physical education department and as a school to fund the extra 26 bikes that we have. We are working to save money. Our phase 2 of this would be to get a large screen that is a 9-foot by 12-foot that would fit in our gym, that we could see every avatar, every web-based projection onto the screen. But we can work with what we've got right now. But that's our big picture, what we're seeing. What do we get for our money? We get a web racing service kiosk, which is on this next one. They will come in and install a computer-based system, touchscreen for the teachers to use, and everything that we need to incorporate data into our class, to make teams, to show will be on this touchscreen system. We can control every student, and we will get immediate feedback from our students, which is big in our school. Data. We want to know what our kids are doing. We want to increase and user-friendly. This does not take much time to set up. It takes a while to set up a physical education class with games and that kind of stuff. To bring this cardiovascular endurance activity into our schools with such little setup time is amazing. We currently do a workout Wednesday and Fresh Air Friday and Fitness Fridays. This is a great way to incorporate, we're putting all our students, no matter what skill level, on an even playing field. So kids don't have to be like, Johnny does this race card, Betty does this one. They're numbers. I pick the numbers, Coach Z picks the numbers. We make teams. They can work together to a common goal. This is what this first slide, the slide on the top shows. It's bike 1, bike 7, bike 9, bike 35. You guys are all on the same team. We are trying to race the 11.5 miles of the beginning part of the Tour de France winning team gets there. But we could have a really strong biker at the top and a really slower biker at the bottom, but they average the goals. That's when we incorporate math, history, social studies, all the other classes into the courses. So we have why bike the beach? We can bike at the beach. We can take the stress off our students and we can go to the mountains. We're trying to take our students, put them in a calming environment. Honestly, middle school PE, some people dread. We love PE. We want our kids to be comfortable coming to and enjoy it. We don't want to single out that basketball player is amazing and then they lose their confidence if they're not good at that basketball sport. PE is changing. Innovation, technology is coming to us, and these are some examples of web racing labs that have been set up through Web Racing Company who we've been talking with. They go in any place, location. We are ideally putting it into our, what used to be a covered player, but we have a very nice weight room that would benefit from a cardiovascular fitness for our students. And there's a couple more, user-friendly for anyone, any age. We have we service about 200 kids through intramurals in the mornings. We think our numbers will increase if we can get more females into it. And honestly, who doesn't want to come and play a video game while moving, while benefiting cardiovascular fitness, doing it. These are quality control things. We've tried to troubleshoot, like what could this happen? What could this happen? There is nothing left that we haven't tried to overturn right now. Why not right across the countryside, through the forest, along the beach, or anyone else in the world? We are trying to give our students with a virtual reality, we're trying to meet them, the 21st century, our entertainment industry, trying to meet them in the middle. We want to increase our fitness numbers, we want to decrease our obesity rate, and we want your help to help fund our program. Any questions?
Well, I think we've said the word wow 10 times tonight. And this is the 10th time I'm going to say wow. As a former PE teacher and someone who has run his whole life, who loves physical exercise, what a great idea to bring that Peloton commercial that I keep seeing and I want to buy that bike to middle school. What a great idea. So I'm like, that is really, really awesome. So Sharks, anything?
What if the bikes don't work for the student? What would you do?
That is a great question, and that's one of probably my favorite ones, girl. We're working with our IT person at our school, but also Web Racing Company as a whole. They train and they will work with our IT person. The bikes are one total thing, but what we're asking, the technology-based part of it, is fitted onto the bikes. If that doesn't work, they virtually fix ours. They would be able to log into our system that they bring us and help troubleshoot it for us.
Right.
How many bikes do you guys currently have right now?
We have 6 bikes right now.
Right.
And how many students would you say are impacted once you have this technology?
Based on all of our numbers, so we do approximately 200 plus students every week, if not more, honestly, maybe over 300, just with intramurals. We also have a running club, which if we get this technology, I should say, we plan on morphing into a cardio club. Then during the winter months when it's too cold to go outside and run, boom, they come inside, they've got the bikes, they can bike anywhere in the world at that point. So that's another example. It's going to be hundreds of students. We have over 1,000 at our school, and we teach over 500 every single day.
I'm guessing you're thinking also staff could participate.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Can you imagine?
We want them to
I might come over there.
Yeah,
seriously, I love it.
We love it.
No, I love it. I'm going to win.
No, that's me.
Okay, we'll see you. All right, well,
I was going to say, what was the inspiration behind creating this and bringing this to the classroom?
We have students with all different abilities, and we see so many different students in the school. We want to put them on an equal playing field, but also we want them to leave our school being able to be healthy citizens in our community and be able to not be bored and discouraged by fitness of running on the treadmill.
We want them to love cardio. We want them to love exercise for their entire lives, not just for middle school, but their entire lives.
Hey, way to bring the energy level up when you guys came in here. That was beautiful because we were like, okay, and you guys brought it.
We're all tired, we know.
No, it was awesome. So thank you. Great job. I mean, it was really well done, and we'll see you in just a few minutes, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
How do you guys think it went in there?
I think it went amazing. Everything that we said, they seemed to react very positively to. I mean, we knew it was a great idea. Obviously, that's why we're here, but it was amazing. What do you think?
I'm excited to see where we end up, but positive energy.
Wow, I said that about 10 minutes ago because every single group tonight was amazing. Just incredible. So proud of each of you. Before I get started on, letting you know how you all did, I want to thank Teaching and Learning, Sally Creel, Missy, Communications, Technology, Leadership and Learning Department, all of our special sharks here. You guys are great. We had community members here. We had a wonderful student here. And it was just such a fun event. This is our third year doing this, and I've been privileged to be here for the third straight year, and it's just a great event. And you guys made it really special. Really special. You worked so hard, you prepared, took a chance, right, to come out here and show what you have, and we were so impressed. So take a deep breath because you did wonderful, okay? We are so excited to let Myron let you all know how you did. Are you ready? All right.
You all get funded. You get funded.
You get funded. You get funded. You get funded. You get funded.
Yeah.
So you'll soon get information from Ms. Creel and the Teaching and Learning Department about the specifics of the funding. So really well done. Great job. So proud of you. And we look forward to visiting and seeing these things in action. So awesome job. Have a great night.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, everyone.